Joining us now is the former Comptroller General of the United States, David Walker. He's been pushing for fiscal responsibility for nearly 30 years. He's now head of the Comeback America initiative. He joins us from New Haven, Connecticut today. David, welcome back to In Business. What do you expect to get accomplished today?
Well, I think the president has significantly raised the stakes. He's now said that he's willing to put Social Security on the table, Medicare, Medicaid, all kinds of spending cuts, and the Republicans are getting painted in the corner because they're looking more and more unreasonable with regard to their position on tax expenditures. You know, tax expenditures are backdoor spending. They need to be on the table. And so we'll see what happens. I mean, I think that we are going to reach some type of a deal. We're going to raise the debt ceiling limit. The question is, are we going to have to do a mini deal and then come back later this year? And what are the conditions going to be?
Well, the president certainly indicated that he wants a all-encompassing deal. He doesn't want, some sort of medium-term patch. And politically, it would certainly seem that it would be more palatable for both sides to get a little of both, a little compromise on both sides over a longer term than it would be to have a short-term agreement that would, sort of not have any deliverables for anyone.
Clearly, it would be preferable to be able to reach a deal that is significant, that would take the debt ceiling limit past the 2012 election cycle. That may or may not be possible within the period of time involved. I do believe we're going to raise it. The question is it going to be one big deal, or is it going to be something done in the interim and then maybe come back and do something later? Look, Social Security needs to be reformed. Medicare, Medicaid does. Defense has to be cut. Taxes have to be reformed. The idea that we're going to solve our deficit and debt problems, even with a big deal, is totally ridiculous. They're talking about 10-year deficit and debt numbers.
Right.
The problem gets much worse after that. So this is just the beginning, even if they reach some type of a comprehensive deal.
That deal, do you expect it to be closer to that $4 trillion over 10 years, or are we going to meet in the middle on the amount that we're going to actually cut here?
I think in the end, it needs to be close to that $4 trillion because, quite frankly, in the scheme of things, you got to keep in mind that this country is in a $62 trillion hole. And so $4 trillion is a lot of money, but compared to the $62 trillion hole that we're in, it's just a modest down payment.
How do you find a source of new revenue without calling it a tax, and then also have the Democrats agree to make some sort of an entitlement cut? I mean, where is the wiggle room here?
Well, there are things that can be done. For example, you can change the way that indexing is done, both for benefit payments as well as for the tax system. That can both generate revenues and save expenditures.
For that, which would affect the cost of living adjustment we've been talking about.
Correct.
That would save
That's correct.
Only $100 billion.
That's correct. Well, it would save on the spending and generate revenues. In addition to that, you could look at Medicare premiums for Medicare Part B and Medicare Part D. They're voluntary programs. On average, people get subsidized 75% through general revenues, even if they're wealthy and even if they make a lot of money. That really doesn't make a lot of sense. If you make those more means-tested, you reduce spending and you're not raising taxes because those programs are voluntary. You don't have to sign up for those programs, okay? Look, on Social Security, there's no way that you're going to end up having a big impact on Social Security in the next 10 years unless you raise the taxable wage-based cap. Because Social Security's challenges are going to have to be reforms are going to have to be phased in over time with regard to the benefit structure. That's not going to save you a lot of money in 10 years, but it could save you a lot of money over time.
David, thank you for giving us your insight.